Hello, welcome to Module 1, Introduction to Ashtanga. My name is Michelle Scarbrough, and I will be educating you about what is Ashtanga. So what is Ashtanga? Ashta means 8 and Anga limbs. So Ashtanga means 8 limbs. That's the word in itself. And we'll go over the 8 limbs in the next module. So Ashtanga is a set series that never changes the order. So it's a beautiful series that has a standard way of teaching. So it's like taking the torch and passing it on to each student, and it's taught a specific and particular way. So that's what Ashtangis are known for. They're known for their rigid practice and also known for the dissolving the disease from the lower belly. So 90% of the Ashtanga poses dissolves the lower belly, which we will be learning how to engage. It's called Ujjayi breath, and we'll learn that in Module 3. So going back to the set series, it never changes the order, so you build strength in each pose. And the beauty behind it is each pose leads into the next pose. So there's a warm-up in the beginning part of the Ashtanga practice, there's a middle, which is primary, and then there's finishing, which is the ending. So it's beautiful. It gives you the foundations and the fundamentals of the warm-up, the heart of the practice, and then the ending. So it helps for you to learn what it is to learn beginning, middle, and end, right? And so at the end of these 12 weeks, you'll be able to teach your very own beginning Ashtanga class. And if you want to learn more about primary in the full primary series, there will be another teacher training after this one as well. So going back, let's go back to the history of yoga first of all, right? Let's go back a couple hundred years where yoga wasn't really a known practice. It was kind of one of those things where monks in the Tibetan times and people that can conform their bodies in weird ways, and most of the yogis lived in caves back in these times, right? So back in India, Krishnamacharya was a scholar, a known, educated, well-known man, and really came from well-off family and just wanted to know more about himself, his inner self, right? And he learned a little bit about yoga but wanted to know more. And so he heard of a yogi that was living in the Tibetan Himalaya caves and went on this journey to go find this yogi, and he did. He went and found this yogi and wanted to learn how to do yoga. And the yogi kind of looked at him. This is Diana Christensen's story. Is he went and he was like, no, sorry, like, don't take students. No words, basically. And Krishnamacharya was so determined to learn. He's like, no, you gotta take me on, please. He like begged the yogi, you know, I need to learn, I want to know more. And so the yogi took him on and spent several years with Krishnamacharya educating him the fundamentals of yoga. And when the yogi told him, you know, now it's time for you to go back, get married, have children, you know, do all the things, get a regular job, and he did. And his mission was to teach the householders, and so he did. So when Krishnamacharya came back, he had several students, but two of them that really stand out to this modern time is Iyengar and Toby Joyce for the Ashtanga practice. And Ashtanga, the word in itself, didn't really come out until the 1970s. But Toby Joyce referred to his practice as asana from Krishnamacharya. He didn't really label his practice, and what ended up happening is while he was studying, Iyengar and Toby Joyce studied with Krishnamacharya for 25 years. And in that practice, Toby Joyce got a scholarship to learn Sanskrit and go off to college and to teach, you know, teachers yoga at the college. And he did, and he learned for 25 years Sanskrit. And when he learned the sutras, he learned how to dissect the Pranamami Patanjali Sutra book. And that book in itself was so old and so broken down and missing pages. But Toby Joyce took from the knowledge that he learned from Sanskrit and dissected the book and created basically his own practice out of the book. And that's how Ashtanga came out. And he labeled it Ashtanga when he came over to the West, because that was, right, what the Westerners like. They like to label certain practices, so that's how Ashtanga came out, was he taught it and he labeled it Ashtanga for 8 limbs. And so when he came out here to the West, he had a couple students that he took on. He had several students for Toby Joyce. He didn't take on many. I believe it was 28 in total that he worked side by side with. So whoever had time and space with Toby Joyce really got the privilege to learn the series as it was designed. And within that, Dave and Doug were 2 brothers that he really taught the Ashtanga series to. And the cool part with David and Doug was the brother, and he was more of the athlete out of them. And he took that series, right, primary series, and he created a 2nd series and a 3rd series and a 4th series and really took on the athletes. And David, the brother, who we get the privilege to learn from, and that's the manual that you guys received, is basically he broke down Ashtanga to the point where people can learn, anybody off the street, because of the modifications, right? So he really broke down each pose and really took the time to design it to where anybody can start from the modification and then learn the full practice. And it's such a beautiful practice, and for him to take the time to set back and break down the poses, it's such a beautiful way. And I'm so honored to share that gift with you, and we will learn more about the asanas in the next modules coming up ahead. Stay tuned. Namaste.